I learn best through stories. I remember stories. Sometimes I remember them in different ways so that they suit the situation in which I find myself, or sometimes when I'm speaking or talking, those stories change to fit that situation. But one of my very favorite stories is about two brothers. And their parents had died and they lived on adjacent farms. One brother was single. He lived alone, and he came home each night to his own home, and he loved his life and he loved his brother deeply. The other brother was married and had many children, and their house was always filled with noise and laughter and so much going on. The one brother, who had many children and was married, felt badly for his single brother. So every night, after it became dark, and when he thought everyone had gone to bed, he would take a bag of grain or wheat or some gift, and take it and put it in his brother's storehouse. And the single brother loved his brother with children and wife and family, and he thought, how can they ever make it? How can they ever have enough? And so every night after it got dark, when he thought everyone was sleeping, he would go to his storehouse and pick up a bag of grain or wheat or something that he thought his brother could use, and he would walk over and he would place it in his brother's storehouse. One night, as they were doing this, the married brother and the single brother bumped into each other. And they looked at each other, and they loved each other, and they laughed. The tagline that often goes with this story is this: no night is ever too dark that when you see another woman or man, you cannot see there a sister or brother in Christ. I've been concerned recently about how we try to solve our problems or how we are living as a community. There's been numerous reports of police brutality, and we know those stories, and fights in Ocean City and all kinds of other stuff that goes on. And it just seems to me that as we prepare for the day, or maybe as we finish the day, that it might be best if we who take seriously the example of Christ would resolve to do the things that Jesus taught, to say the words that Jesus said for our generation, for our situation, and to inflesh or incarnate or bring into existence Christ through who we are, through what we say, and how we live. When I went to Eastern Mennonite College, I was very impressed by the example of the Mennonites that I met there. Now, I had known Mennonites before, but one thing they took very seriously was this: that if Jesus said to do it, or if Jesus' example led persons to consider this, it was not a suggestion, it was not a metaphor, it was a reality. So today in our relationships one with another, brothers and sisters, friends, husbands and wives, strangers, anyone, let's not allow the violence of our culture to determine how we respond. Instead, let's let the words of Jesus, the life of Jesus, the act of Jesus determine that. Jesus embraces and loves and cares for persons who are outcasts, like the leper. Jesus cares for and forgives his own disciples who make mistakes, like Peter. The wonderful reality is Jesus forgives you and me. In faith, we call that grace. If you have the chance, extend forgiveness to another. And thereby we don't perpetuate the cycle of violence, either in relationships or physical violence, but instead we can begin to build a new and different world, even today.